I'm recreating the 1 through 5 value in here. So I want to just look up here at the guide as to what values I need to put in those areas. And of course I put the darker value in here just to kind of, since I had to control it really well. So now I'm just kind of working my way across. Now if I end up going inside this box, that's fine, because this box or this triangle is going to go dark to light. So it's okay if I get over in there a little bit. I just want to make sure that I'm getting an accurate value as I work my way across. That got a little bit dark too quick because I had too many layers on there. So I'll just lighten it up and then come back in with the side of my pencil. Again, I'm holding it all the way back here at the eraser and just letting the weight of the pencil create the value. Just add a little bit of pressure. Move my hand up just a little. I want this to be smooth. All the way across. Smooth transition. Up here we can see that they had the spaces with the lines. I don't want to see lines here. Just slowly build pressure. And you don't always have to move it all the way up. You can just add pressure from where you're holding it at the back too. Alright, so I want to keep it here at my 2 value. It's about learning to control the pencil. And then I can just add a little bit of pressure into my 3. I don't want to see a line between them. Here's my 3 value. See, I'm actually kind of going in small circles using the side of the pencil. Really allows me to control it. Here's my 3. And then I transition with a little bit of pressure into my 4. See how I didn't make the 5 as dark as I needed it to be right away because I wanted to see how it transitioned from the 4. It's always easier to get darker than it is to try to erase something that's too dark and make it light. Alright, so now I got over my edge here, so I'm just going to take my eraser and clean that up because this side is going to be light to dark. So I'm just going to rotate my sketchbook and repeat the process as I did from here. So I'm going to go light to dark as I work my way across. And what happens here, when you start creating accurate values, since this is going to end up dark, what's going to happen is that pencil line is going to disappear. So we have a nice smooth transition and edge of separation. Right? Remember, we talked about the vocabulary. We're creating edges of separation by allowing the values, the edges of the values, to create the separation. No longer dealing with outlines. So those outlines end up disappearing because the values blend up to them and then blend them away. Now sometimes when you're doing smooth shading, you can change how you're holding the pencil. As long as if you're still trying to create smooth value, which we are, all right, you can see that it goes from a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to actually try for a little bit of a 0 value down here, so leaving that edge pure white. So I can, in some areas, when I'm doing darks, if I'm doing movements with the 5 value, I can hold my pencil this way. I just don't want it to become, as I'm doing that 5 value, I don't want it to look liney. All right, so I'm still holding my pencil on an angle, and I'm doing a smaller circular movement. All right, if I slowed that down a lot, you can see it's more of a small circular movement so that I get a smooth value as opposed to a linear value. It does allow for a little bit more control when I'm trying to work around areas like these other shapes. So I have a 0 value on the top of this sphere. So as I get up to that edge, I'm going to carefully control my 5 value around the sphere so the line of the sphere disappears. And then 5, 4, if I kind of go with it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, I can kind of look and see where those changes in the gradients are going to happen. So that means too, when I'm inside of this circle here, obviously that's going to be dark. So the line is going to disappear. The values are going to make those background lines disappear. Now, one trick, if you want to try to keep a clean edge, if I want to keep my clean edge along here and shading up against it, if I put a piece of paper or I use my index card as a boundary, as a border, I can just put it up against the edge, right on that line, and I get a nice crisp, clean edge. Now I got to start transitioning out from my 5 into my 4. Whatever I do on this side, I'm going to have to match on that side. So I'm just lessening pressure as I work my way down, carefully going up against the sphere. And I can always go back and darken. Just lessening pressure. Nice smooth value. Work it down, lessen pressure, pressure. Down to a 0. So now I'm holding my pencil at the back. And barely hitting it so I get right at the bottom of the sphere. And I end up with a pure white 0 value. Full gradation, full value scale. I'm just going to repeat the process here on this side, doing the same thing. So I'm also going to have a piece of scrap paper. If I move my book around and I have my hand on top of any other part of my drawing, I'm going to have a piece of scrap paper underneath. So I can do that. But in this case, my hand can be off of it, so I don't need the scrap paper yet. But I'll line up my card to get a nice crisp edge. And again, I'm going to follow the value scale that I did over here. In this small section, I suggest using small circles. All right, and then again, building out to a 0 value. It's a smaller space, so you got to be much more in control of your pencil. So what I did there was I built a light value all the way down into that dark value. Now I can just add a little bit of overlap and pressure and have that transition really, really smooth and try to follow the curve of the sphere, right? So that sphere looks three-dimensional. And that highlight in here and get a little bit lighter. Let me just lift that out a little. Look at that. Do the same thing at the top here. Use my eraser as a drawing tool. And then just soften the transition a little bit more. All about control.